Top of the hour, there's a 3-minute ad break. You want to stop that? It's only $5. For some people, it's worth. For others, it's not, right? And for others, if you don't have $5, you can do it for free with a Twitch Prime, okay? And if you don't have a Twitch Prime, then maybe you can get
an enormous, a historic price for broadcasting conspiracy theories about the 2020 election. The network reaching a last-minute settlement with Dominion Voting Systems for more than $787 million. They struck the agreement, I should say, right before the defamation trial was about to begin. Dominion's lawyers say it's a victory for truth and democracy.
Dominion told CNN that the deal does not require Fox News anchors to go on air and tell viewers that they lied. Here's what Fox said in a statement when the news broke.
I do have a statement from Fox, Neil. We are pleased to have reached a settlement of our dispute with Dominion Voting Systems. We acknowledge the court's rulings finding certain claims about Dominion to be false. The settlement reflects Fox's
Yeah, they're talking about this at like what time? Howard Kurtz.
continued commitment to the highest journalistic standards.
We just want to give you now a small sample of the broadcast that got Fox News broadcasts that got Fox News in trouble. Here it is.
That wasn't 4:20 p.m., right? That was 4:20 a.m., I think, right? I don't think 4:20 p.m. because 4:20 afternoon, the afternoon time slot is like usually occupied by what's his face? Their version of Steven Crowder, Jesse, what the fuck? It's the 5 usually. God, I know too much about Fox News. It's so gross. No, that wasn't CNN. That was Fox News.
Sydney, we talked about the Dominion software. I know that there were voting irregularities. Tell me about that.
Electronic voting machines didn't allow people to vote, apparently. And that, whatever you think of it, the cause of it, it shakes people's faith in the system. That is an actual threat to democracy.
And this morning, we're hearing from the CEO of Dominion Voting Systems. Watch this.
Also, here's another thing. I mean, I'm sure they have insurance. Like, they must have libel insurance, something like that. They're a media company. This is like, you know, a media company like Fox News is going to have some level of insurance on this, right? I assume. It's like being a driver and not having like car insurance. Like, you're going to need it. Okay? In many instances, I would go so far as to say it's like being a driver, being a professional truck driver and not having wheels, okay, on your truck. That's what it's like for Fox to go out to market without having any kind of, libel insurance.
There was an acknowledgement, and certainly it's not the way I wrote it. And I had some conversations with our team, my co-founder and I. And at the end of the day, the court system really is about accountability. We feel we got it. And all of the facts that we had discovered during the case had already come to light.
Joining us now, lead counsel for Dominion, Justin Nelson. Justin, thank you so much for your time this morning.
Thank you. Good morning.
Hi, good morning.
Hi. I think one of the big questions this morning is sort of how do you put a price tag on trust in U.S. democracy, right? You can't.
Oh, my God. They have to be so fucking libbed up. They can't even celebrate this openly. What's the price tag on U.S. democracy? What do you mean? This is a defamation suit, okay? This is a defamation court case that happened specifically because they lied about the voter tabulation software and machines that Dominion was utilizing in the election. They're literally worth, I mean, they're not worth this much. They got a payout that was gigantic. It was basically hush money. It was more hush money than what Donald Trump was willing to give to Stormy Daniels. You know what I mean? That's what they got paid. They got paid and shut the fuck up money, and they took it. Of course they took it, because the money is gigantic. It is so much.
Put a price on that, as one of our colleagues writes on CNN this morning. Was this about money for Dominion, or was this about truth?
Well, I think it was really our two goals were accountability and to get compensation for this massive amount of harm that occurred to the company. And I think we achieved both. On the truth, on the accountability, over the past few months, you've seen this mountain of evidence.
Yeah, if it was about the truth, they wouldn't have fucking settled for $780 million. Okay? If it was about the truth, they would have let the fucking court case go. They would have let it ride. And then on top of that, they would have literally probably gotten even more money in the long run, I assume. Okay? They probably would have actually forced the settlement for a higher sum midway through the court process, because Fox News did this to stop the hemorrhaging. Fox News did this because they did not want there to be a court. They did not want there to be any kind of deliberations. They did not want Tucker Carlson and Rupert Murdoch and Laura Ingraham on the stand getting eviscerated and cross-examined by Dominion's lawyers on issues that pertain to them hating Donald Trump. They did not want that to happen. That's the reason why they spent $787 million on a company that makes $17 million a year. They wanted to stop that dead in its tracks. Like at the top of the hour, there's a 3-minute ad break. You want to stop that? It's only $5. For some people, it's worth. For others, it's not, right? And for others, if you don't have $5, you can do it for free with a Twitch Prime, okay? And if you don't have a Twitch Prime, then maybe you can get gifted a sub if you're lucky. But for Fox News, the price tag for not having Rupert Murdoch get fucking trotted out to the courts to be cross-examined on how much he knowingly even hates Donald Trump, or knows that like vaccines are actually good, but lied about the vaccines, like everything. They could have asked him about everything, and then their defense counsel would say objection relevance, and then the other side would make an argument as to why it's relevant, because this is like to show a pattern of like lies that Fox News engages in deliberately on a regular basis. Boom, there's hella fucking shit in discovery there. You have all of these text messages that you can point to. It would have been awesome. It would have been sweet, sweet content. And I do think personally, that it would have been better off if they actually took it to the courts. Gambling Blues, thank you for the 5 gifted. Tamana, thank you for the 10 gifted. But unfortunately, let's be fucking real. The amount that they got was so major. While the libel insurance will be covering Fox completely, if they lose/settle this next case for anywhere near the same amount, they will have backbreaking premiums for the rest of their existence. I hope they get fucking shafted by the insurance companies. As a law student, it is crazy to me that a news channel can make so much money from outright lying to their viewers, and when they finally do face justice in the legal system, they can use that misinformation money to pay off the company they destroyed the reputation of, because allowing the trial go... Holy fuck, Bernie Sanders fell behind me. That scared the shit out of me. Allowing the trial to go forth on the merits would be 10x worse and ruin their reputation, even though it's what Fox deserves. Yes. Justice is not real. Justice never gets served. We live in a capitalist system. We exist under a capitalist organization of the economy. This is what the system is designed for. This is what the courts are designed for. And when two companies duke it out, the only time when there's any kind of recourse is when it's company v. company. You know what I mean? They had them dead to rights, so they milked them.
Evidence that has been revealed in texts and emails that really show that, in fact, Fox News.
People in my country use the Dominion thing to try to shut down machine voting, like the implications of this case. People in my country, like the implications of this case could have been huge if it actually went deeper and no deal was made. Brother, I'm going to be honest with you. People in your country are just using that as an example and using that as a reason. The Fox News defamation suit ending in the way that it did is not going to dramatically change the attitudes that people have on the ground. It's just not happening. Like, you are run by tyrants. You know what I mean? You're run by tyrants. They would have done it anyway. It's not Fox News routinely lying about it that gave them the opportunity to capitalize on the misinformation. They would have done it regardless. And the Fox News defamation suit going down in whichever way that it did was not going to change that reality. What is this? XQC Rizzing Ice Spice. Hi, I'm following everyone with a receipt. A receipt for what? I lost my receipt because my dog ate it. I was the dog. Please date me. Good luck, I guess. Godspeed, soldier. Hope it works out for you. This is the guy you meant, by the way, Fox News. No, not Jesse Kelly, dude. No, I'm talking about Jesse Waters. Jesse Waters is on with like Fox and 5 or whatever. Fox 5. All right, let's get back to it.
Fox knew that it was lies. And the statement that Fox released yesterday acknowledged the court's order that called these false. This was the first time that a court has held that the election lies were, in fact, lies. And this was the first time that someone has been held accountable in the form of a nearly $800 million payment for that. It is also, of course, a civil litigation. And it's about making my client whole. And although this does not make my client whole, it is a step in that direction. And instead of going for years to appeal and to verdict, we got an $800 million settlement, nearly $800 million settlement. And we're proud of what we did. And we do think it's a victory both for truth and for accountability.
Let's talk a little bit more about that, Justin, because in the statement, I mean, Fox says, this is just part of it, we acknowledge the court's rulings finding certain claims about Dominion to be false. They didn't exactly say that they lied. And there is, among the public, there is a feeling that it may have been better, Justin, for the Fox News anchors and their leaders, their management.
The longer this court case went, the more CNN, MSNBC, and mainstream outlets would cover it, and the likelihood that like people in their audience would hear about it would go up dramatically. You understand? That's the main reason. That's the major reason. Especially if there's juicy details about the inner workings of Fox News being exposed in this court case, which it would have. It made the most amount of sense for Fox for Dominion to go through with this. Defamation in the United States of America is already like harder to prove than other places. Or, you can really get away with defamation here. Whereas you can't really. You can't really get away with that in other countries. They have a way higher. They have way better protections for people who are being defamed than in the United States of America, which is a nation that loves free speech and bastardizes that principle regularly.
To take the stand, to acknowledge the lies publicly, that would have sent a stronger message. What do you say to that?
Well, I would say that there was that acknowledgement, and I would also say that in the civil litigation system, we could have gotten a 10, 20 billion, you name the billion-dollar award, and they still wouldn't have had to apologize or to go on air to say that they were wrong. What we can do in a civil litigation system is to bring accountability by exposing the truth and by having compensation for the harm that occurred. And on that, we accomplish both by a wide margin.
Would you have preferred if you could have gotten your druthers to have the Fox News anchors and folks on air say, you know what, we lied, or at least that having had them have to make a statement? Would you have preferred that?
Law, what is this lip shit? What good is an apology from Fox going to do? I mean, it's good to have all of these motherfuckers go on Fox News and tell their audiences that they lied to them. It's better than not having that happen. You know what I mean? I'm sure Fox News didn't want that to happen at all, especially if they set the boundaries on when and where they can say it. And it wasn't simply and it wasn't simply relegated to like the 4 a.m. time slot. You know what I mean? You get what I'm saying? Like, can you imagine Tucker Carlson live on the Tucker Carlson show time slot saying, we misled you, viewers, and we apologize? Even if he says things like, oftentimes in our effort to arrive at the truth, sometimes we get it a little wrong or whatever. Openly recognizing that, openly having to admit that he lied to his viewers on his own fucking time slot would be crazy.
It's always bittersweet when you settle a case because you think you have a great case. The issue is, of course, that there's always risk in going to a jury trial. And my client really, these employees of Dominion have been so incredibly harmed, and they still get threats, death threats. It's really difficult for the company to be operating. And so for them to have this settlement really does mean a lot. And remember, this is just the first step. We have 6 other cases against other defendants who are, some of them are still lying about the election. And so what we think and we're really proud of is that this really is the first time that someone has been held accountable for the results and the lies that were told after the 2020 election.
Other defendants, who might that be?
Well, we have a case against Newsmax. We have a case against One American News. And then, of course, we have cases against Sidney Powell and Mike Lindell and MyPillow and Rudy Giuliani and Patrick Byrne. And so we think that we will continue to hold people accountable for the lies that they told. I mean, look, ultimately, misinformation is not going away. The truth does not know red or blue. And what we have to do is really, if we're going to have this shared experiment in democracy, we have to have a common commitment to facts. And we can disagree, we can have different opinions, even on our most profound issues. But if we are not able to agree on facts, then that is when we're going to have these just bubbles of where we don't talk to each other. And what happened to Dominion is it just got swept in this torrent of lies, where it was in this alternative universe. And I do hope that this really does send a message that it is so important to tell the truth. And that if you don't tell the truth, lies have consequences. And I think this is what it established. And that is why there is accountability today. There's accountability to Dominion, and there's accountability to democracy.
Justin, former Fox News anchor Gretchen Carlson tweeted a few days ago, "Please do not settle. You are about to prove something very big." She, of course, was successful not only in her litigation against Fox News, or arbitration, but in changing the law when it comes to secret mandatory arbitration. I just wonder if there are things about Fox's lies and how they conducted themselves behind closed doors that now the public will not know because there will be no trial.
Well, I think that what you saw in the past couple months that has come out in our summary judgment briefing and that already is public has really revealed behind the scenes that Fox did know that these were lies. That was a really big question going into this. Did Fox really know it? Did the anchors who were saying it really believe it? And I think that we've seen the evidence. We've seen the evidence from these crazy emails that started it all, to people saying that Sidney Powell was lying, to the motive that occurred, and this was all in black and white in documents that have been revealed. So would the trial have put on that same evidence? Of course. But at the end of the day, I think the accountability came from what already has happened over the last months. And of course, the payment itself, having a nearly $800 million payment really, I think, sends a strong message about what it means to lie.
Justin Nelson, thank you for your time. We'll be following those, I think, 6 other cases that you are lead counsel in as well as this progresses. Thanks very, very much.
Thanks, Justin.
Thank you very much. Appreciate it.
The CEO of Dominion Voting Systems, John Poulos, thank you for coming in. This morning, a lot of legal experts were surprised it took so long for this settlement to come about. What were the final sticking points?
Well, we weren't ready to settle until all of the facts that we had discovered had come to light in the public. That was something that we had committed to from the beginning. We had complete support with our partners, and it's something that we owed to our customers.
Were you surprised that Fox took so long?
Personally, no, I wasn't surprised.
Why not?
The fact is that they published falsehoods about us, and it wasn't just once or twice. It wasn't just on one day or 2 days. It was 20 statements made over 2.5 months.
Ben Shapiro on Mr. Beast. Yeah, we'll fucking cover it later. Okay?
Well, folks,
this is 1.2 million views in one day. Oh my God, I fucking hate everyone. I hate this fucking world that we live in.
And this was not the case of
Carl Jacobs. What the fuck? Hey, yo, Carl Raid. What's going on? Carl, I hope you had a good stream. What are you in Switzerland? Are you in Zurich? It's one of my favorite cities on the planet. Beautiful country. Hope you're having a great time. Carl. You know? They came into the I hate this fucking world. Yeah, I mean, timing is a little crazy that you just raided me while I was looking at Ben Shapiro trying to fucking milk your friend and coworker dry as aggressively as he can, because these guys are fucking straight demons. I'm not sure if anyone said anything to you, but great impression of Charlie on the pod this last Monday. Thank you. Did you guys like the pod with Charlie, by the way? We uploaded it on Tuesday. Anyway. Hell yeah. I'm glad you guys appreciated it. Dude, I'm trying to diversify my content portfolio, you know what I mean? I'm trying to do more better podcasts, better YouTube videos. You already know, baby. Anyway, let's continue. We're currently talking about the Dominion lawsuit. The Dominion CEO is talking about its settlement with Fox News, where they took Fox News to the motherfucking cleaners and got $787 million over Fox News's routine lies about Dominion's election software, its voter tabulation software and hardware that was utilized in the prior election. They lied and said Dominion was working with Hugo Chavez from the grave and all this other dumb shit. And they kept up that lie over and over again, deliberately and maliciously, which is what you need to prove in a court of law, in a civil court, in the United States of America, in an effort to successfully sue someone for defamation, which Dominion had. The discovery showed plenty of fun, juicy text messages between Fox News hosts and whatnot. But of course, this was a fat payday for them. So they settled, and they settled and allowed Dominion to not even, or they settled and allowed Fox News to not even apologize actually publicly on their broadcast that they lied about Dominion knowingly and willingly. So good amount of money. The 5% of yearly revenue is cleaners now? Yes. Yeah, it is actually. What the fuck do you mean? Yes. 5% of their yearly revenue is a gigantic fucking... People saying literally nothing are absolutely insane. That is not nothing. Also, you don't even know what you're talking about. It's probably not even going to come from their fucking revenue anyway. Fine for the rich isn't a punishment. Oh my God. Oh my God. Oh my God. Guys, when I'm covering something, there's two different elements of my coverage. One of the components is within the current system that we exist in. Okay? When I'm talking about something like that, I'm talking about it within the confines of the current system that we exist under. Okay? Shut the fuck up. Obviously, this is not my personal opinion on what we should do with the Fox News hosts. Okay? But having said that, yes, this tiny number that you're referencing is close to $1 billion, and that number is actually a record-breaking defamation suit award, okay? This is literally the most amount of money anyone has ever gotten from a defamation suit. I hope you understand that. So yeah, it's not a small fraction. It's a gigantic sum. It's huge.
A media company pursuing the truth and making a mistake. They knew.
$787.5 million, one of the biggest defamation settlements ever. But what you didn't get was an apology.
Very
confused, MB. Thank you for the 10 of the subs. It hasn't affected the stock price and therefore hasn't affected the money available to major shareholders to do whatever. Yeah, here's the thing. That's why I think they fucked up. I think the Dominion CEO could have kept the court proceedings, like could have continued with the court proceedings, and then probably gotten even a higher, deal, a better deal, more like a settlement where they demanded even a higher percentage, a higher number, while also causing them a shitload of damage in the way that they're seen by the public. So, you know, they did it, and the reason why I'm saying it's a big amount, because it is a big amount. The reason why they did that is because they did not want to go to court. They did not want to testify. That's why they just fucking dropped $787 million. You understand?
Was an acknowledgement, and certainly it's not the way I wrote it. I had some conversations with our team, my co-founder and I. And at the end of the day, the court system really is about accountability. We feel we got it. All of the facts that we had discovered during the case had already come to light.
Right, but they just acknowledged that the judge said there were falsehoods. They didn't admit to falsehoods or apologize for them. Is that enough?
Well, if you look at the documents, I think they speak for themselves. They did acknowledge. They did not argue falsity. The motion for summary judgment was extremely clear. In fact, you actually used the language crystal clear.
Well, what is this like for a company like yours when you go through a long lawsuit like this? You're under an awful lot of scrutiny.
It's devastating. This was not a matter of our employees being harassed over a day, a week, a month. It persists to this day. All of our partners that have chosen to work with us in the past have all been affected. Our customers have been harassed and targeted for no other reason other than their relationship with us. And it's just been devastating. And you know, if we could have our company back and undo it, we would do it in a second.
Any reason to think that's not going to continue, that Fox is going to change the way they do business in any way, shape, or form? You know, $787.5 billion is an awful.
For the chatter who said testifying in court doesn't change anything, Alex Jones did it. You don't even know this probably, but Tucker Carlson did this as well. Tucker Carlson was hit with a separate suit a while back, where the Tucker Carlson show, Tucker Carlson Tonight, openly mentioned that they were not a news show, they were not even a commentary show, but they were an entertainment show. Like, yes, so you are correct on your assessment that like this doesn't genuinely end up hurting them. So, yeah, their audience doesn't seem to care because they keep giving them that juicy fake news that they want. It's a bit of both. They said no reasonable person would believe them. Yeah, I mean, it literally does not matter. These are people in his audience that are unreasonable, but because of Fox News' size and I guess like legitimacy in the field of news due to their like actual objective news coverage side, like their journalism side and whatnot, there is a much, much larger audience out there that still watches Fox News, that are in the margins, that would not have actually will see this kind of thing and inevitably go, okay, I'll be a little bit more skeptical of their coverage in the future. Anything under $2 billion is a drop in the bucket for them, unfortunately, and they don't have to go on record and say sorry, everybody. I don't really even care about them saying sorry. It's humiliating. I care about the extended court process. Like, if they had actually extended it, which Dominion should have, like I said. Washington Post says $800 million is like 20% of their cash on hand, by the way. That's a giant amount. That's a big amount. But having said that, I don't even care about the fucking defamation awards. I don't care about like them saying sorry. What I cared about was extending the damage, just like making them suffer in the courts for an extended period of time as the duration of the suit kept going, as the duration of this case kept going. They would have had to legitimately go and address some of these things, and the media would have made hay. They would have covered this non-fucking stop. Am I being too hopeful thinking this is the downfall of Fox News? No, of course it's not the downfall of Fox News. No shot. Fox News is a media company that makes money by lying to its audience. So, of course, for that reason, they have processes that they've set up in the unlikely chance that some of their lies might come back and harm them financially.
$1 million is an awful lot of money, but it's just a fraction of what they earn every year.
For us, it was never really about Fox per se. It was about telling the truth and the media telling the truth.
This guy's Canadian.
Think that what was important for us is for people to be held account for when they recklessly and knowingly tell lies that have such devastating consequences.
You think they'll stop doing that?
I certainly hope so. I think that it's a big step forward in democracy if we can, our system can send a signal that if media companies lie, whoever they are, on whatever channel it is, and they do so knowingly, they will be prepared to pay a very, very high price.
You are pursuing other lawsuits, Donald Trump, Rudy Giuliani, Sidney Powell. What does that mean now?
Not exactly. We have 6 lawsuits. Donald Trump is not one of them. It's the same. We've been committed from the start for accountability, and we will pursue all of them.
John Poulos, thanks very much.
Thank you very much.
Hi, everyone.
Mustache really popped off. Thank you.
You worked at...
Here's a CNN anchor who worked at Fox for 16 years. Here's why she thinks Fox got out of the Dominion lawsuit easy. I love that, like, you don't question the CNN anchor beyond their experience at Fox News. Like, you don't ask yourself at any point, you're like, why did we hire this person? The other day you said Fox News is fucked. Yeah, because the other day I thought Fox News was actually going to go to court. So yes, the other day when I said Fox News is fucked, it was a dramatically different day. It was before they settled. $800 million is still a gigantic sum of money. It's not good for them, but of course they will withstand it. But they would have been fucked more if they continued the court, if they continued the case. I was bored waiting for jury duty today and went through the pics on the Mar-a-Lago geotag and found some Trump without his TV makeup on, feeling like a white Donald Trump. Yeah, I saw this morning you posting this, Michael. I liked it. That's like a jump scare, dude. Look at how weird he looks without the fucking orange tan. Did we get too used to Donald Trump being orange? Or does he actually have a point with the orange tan? Like, it kind of makes him look sexy. Than whatever this fucking decrepit, rotting flesh demon is. You know what I mean? Kind of weird to see it like this. Hate to admit it. Hate to recognize it. Also, without the orange, and if he had that, like, the hair that he had one time when he, like, fucking combed it backwards, it would literally be a different person. You know what I mean? This is a rare Trump because he doesn't have the orange on him. But what would be an even rarer Trump is if he had no orange makeup and on top of that, his hair. He looks almost his age and human here, but still weird, like seeing Mr. Krabs with no shell, bro. Yeah. True. You know, all of this proves one thing, though, right? You do realize that this proves that Trump is right to do the orange makeup. Like, think about it. Other funny, rare Trumps would be Trump doing the Nico Lowell makeup with, like, the freckles and the super rosy cheeks. That would be funny. I would love to see that. It would break my brain. Obviously, that's not ever going to happen, but... Trump got braces and did the rosy cheek makeup with the freckles. Oh, man. Anyway. All right, let's hear what this CNN anchor who's made a different career for herself after lying at Fox News has to say about her time at Fox News.
At Fox for 16 years. What do you make of the fact that Fox viewers won't hear a retraction or an apology outright?
I consider this a win for Fox. I consider it a win for Dominion, as he just said. They get a lot of money and it helps their checkbook. I don't know that it helps their reputation because if Fox never has to make a correction or a retraction, how is it going to help their reputation when they were disseminating disinformation to Fox viewers? So now they're not going to make a correction on air to Fox viewers. So I'm not sure how it's going to help Dominion's reputation, but I think that it's a win for Fox. The fact that Fox doesn't have to he kept saying they have to take accountability. Yeah, they're not doing that publicly on air. This statement is the most weak sauce. They find that there are certain claims. They don't even say that Fox made the claims. Certain claims to be false. They're not saying that they lied. They're saying to be false. Sometimes false statements are. They find that there are certain claims. They don't even say that Fox made the claims. Certain claims to be false. They're not saying that they lied. They're saying to be false. Sometimes false statements are made. That's not intentional.
And there's a
always.
difference between false and knowingly, right? Which is the
course.
standard, exactly.
My colleague Jim Rutenberg at the Times reported earlier, I'm just reading it here, that under the terms of the settlement, Fox News will not have to apologize or admit to spreading false claims on network programming, according to a person familiar with the details. So that gets exactly what Allison is talking about. That, you know, I'm sure Fox views this as a win for Fox too, because the amount of money, while painful, is far less painful for Fox and for News Corporation than it is for many other entities, certainly than for Sidney Powell or for Rudy Giuliani or a lot of other people who are facing suits. And if, you know, the lawyer's point was, if we wanted to go to trial, we wanted to, you know, sort of hold people accountable. If you're not demonstrating that in open court and you are making a deal by which Fox does not have to admit wrongdoing, then I'm not really sure what they did other than get a lot of money. And a lot of money is something, but it's not.
Bro, isn't she? Oh, it's Maggie Haberman. She kind of looks like the lady on Fox 5 who's like supposed to be the liberal. Dude, they all look so similar to one another. It's crazy. What's her name? What's the other lady that's always on Fox 5? For a second, I was like, why is she fucking on the CNN panel? Jessica Tarlov, is that her name? She looks like a younger version of this. A little bit younger. No, not Jessica. Is it Jessica Tarlov? It is, yeah. I think it's who I'm thinking of. Is it Jessica Tarlov? No, it's not. No. It's not Jessica Tarlov I'm thinking of. I'm thinking of this woman. Hold on. Who's this one? Bro, what the fuck? Am I crazy? They look all the same. This woman. Bro, what is happening? This is the real conspiracy, man. Yeah, the one who was a former MTV VJ. Yeah, that one. No, that's not S.E. Cup. That's a different person. The fact you can't tell says a lot about news these days. Lisa Kennedy Montgomery. Okay. The fact that you guys have these names ready to go is freaky, okay? Straight up. But yes, the person I was looking for is the lady over here. Is that Lisa Kennedy? Is that actually her? She looks so different in like other photos. She was a VJ on MTV, yes, I know. Anyway, that's Maggie Haberman, New York Times is like roving Trump correspondent, okay? And Felix Biederman, reply guy.
And it's worth noting that too, because the peddling of the lies continues, right? I mean, you heard.
That's my big question here. I mean, Donald Trump is the front runner for the nomination again. So what does this look like for the next year?
Exactly. That's what I was going to say.
The problem, though, I mean, there's what we, quote unquote, the court of public opinion wants to hear and the drawn out conclusions and testimony of the top anchors. And then there's the goals of the actual litigants. And I think there is a disconnect between the two. You saw Gretchen Carlson's tweet where she was begging, don't settle. Essentially, she wanted to have them take the stand because she wanted to see this play out and have the very confirmation of accountability in that format and have truth really be on trial and in the best interests of Dominion. And so that disconnect, I think, is what he's speaking to as a litigator. Essentially, look, that may be the goal of the court of public opinion and this being really the illustration of accountability since the post-election lies. But for them as lawyers, they don't want to be in trial, handing over their case to 12 members, which, you know, the lawyer in me is saying, I understand. Our client said it was a failure if she went to trial.
But then why then did Fox not settle this earlier, right? This has been going on for 2.5 years, right? And I think that was another point Gretchen Carlson made. And they had to pay out all of this money, and they did not have to do the on-air apology, according to the statement, according to the New York Times reporting. But they did release this statement, this weak sauce statement, as Allison rightly points out. So why didn't they do this earlier?
Well, legal experts I've been talking to say they absolutely should have, because they would have avoided so much embarrassment leading up to the trial and all of these pretrial hearings and in the discovery. One other thing I wanted to know, I asked some of my sources, in addition to an apology, should they be required to issue a retraction or any corrections? Because it's one thing to not want to apologize for doing things wrong, but as journalists, when we get things wrong, we have to issue a correction and at least make people aware.
Exactly,
And
and
they're-
they're saying that, right?
yeah.
Because that's how you know it's a journalistic institution. And so when
And they
say
they're
that,
the highest journalistic, they have the highest journalistic
Prove it.
standards.
That is not
if you
part
did,
of the
then
deal.
you would issue a retraction.
That is not
for
part of the deal.
The lie.
They
Well,
do not need to
and in
issue
fact, what the statement says is we acknowledge the court found this. And so,
Exactly.
so
Not
which is
even we
literally
acknowledge we did it.
correct. It is
Exactly.
literally
It
as
was a lawyerly, very lawyerly.
factually precise to what the judge did and what the court did without actually saying, and we agree and we recognize there's no ownership of it.
So then what do we do as we look forward, right, what this means, and kind of going back to what we were talking about, if Trump is the nominee, right, how he is the front runner, he's going to continue to spew these lies about the 2020 election, right? I mean, how does this play out?
There was at least until recently a noticeable decline in Trump's visibility on Fox, and that had been going on for weeks, and months. There had been this.
This is why Maggie's on there, okay? To run the Trump line, to tell you what's going on in the Trump camp. Ladies and greaties.
Clear interest in Ron DeSantis from the entire Rupert Murdoch empire. That has shifted somewhat in recent weeks as Ron DeSantis has made some self-inflicted errors. And you saw Trump do a Sean Hannity.
Bro, Ron doesn't have the juice. We talked about this so many fucking times. He is such a loser. Every time he's on camera, anytime he's on camera that isn't just like people being like, Ron DeSantis is, using the state legislature to like murder black people or whatever the fuck, or ship immigrants and kidnap them, or kidnap trans teenagers. Anytime he actually has to like go on the news, leave Florida, and like talk to a human being, he looks like shit. Okay? He just looks like shit. He's boring. He doesn't have the juice in the same way that Trump does. And anytime he tries to do the actual qualities that make Trump Trump and not simply just like towing the culture war line, he loses. Trump is, in many respects, a once-in-a-lifetime candidate for the Republican Party, just like Barack Obama was. You cannot recreate Barack Obama's coalitions. You cannot recreate Barack Obama in 2008. Okay? He was young. He was charismatic. He was outspoken. He didn't follow through on any of that shit. Okay? But in many ways, Donald Trump was basically Barack Obama for white people. Okay? He's sassy. He's also charismatic, or I guess telegenic. You know what I mean? He's charismatic to his audience. And you can't recreate it. That kind of riz, per se, is not something that you can just recreate in a fucking lab. And it's certainly not going to be a party loyalist, institutionalist demon that just wants to ride the ladder to the tippy top like Ron DeSantis. Okay? You either have it or you don't. Rhonda, little Rhonda, don't have it. Okay?
Interview, you saw him do a Tucker Carlson interview, but he's not on whenever he wants to be the way he was. He's not phoning in to every show the way he was. Will that still happen if the audience demands it? I don't see anything that has changed in what their market planning is, but I do think that there is probably going to be some internal edicts on don't just let him say whatever he wants on air. And I think that Trump's own advisors are impressing on him, this is a loser for you. So he continues to say these things on Truth Social, which has a rather small following, and he's not really.
Can you say, it's sugar, man? Is that what you want me to say? It's sugar, man.
doing it
But
elsewhere.
see, what can't happen, though, I know, Allison, you can speak this, obviously, in this notion, it can't have this juxtaposition between, look, if the edict is you can't just let the